Long time no see. Good morning, everyone. Excuse me. Woo! Holy smokes, all this has changed. OBS is completely different now. Completely different. But that's okay. Let's see if I can. There we go. Alright, cool. Alrighty, so yeah, once again, good morning. Um, it's been a while, as usual, but you know, we make do, right? Alright, so yeah, we're in P3D. So I explain. Um, Only because I haven't flown this thing in so long and I do miss it. So we are in Atlanta, more specifically, in the MD-88, sporting the Delta livery. Which I didn't know this. I thought this was pretty interesting. Look at that. Look at that. Damn. Look at that. Now I found that on accident. I was doing something else and the doors open there. I'm sure you guys have known this the whole time. I know I didn't. But yeah. Blown away a little bit. So anywho, yep, we're in Atlanta. It's about 289 nautical mile trip to Piedmont International. In North Carolina. Yeah, was it? Yeah, North Carolina. Get this out of the way real quick. So yeah, like I'm sure you guys, most of you know, like I stream maybe once every other week now, and I come back and check and open up my broadcasting software, and it's just like it's just like somebody just rolled the dice and bam, wherever it hit, that's what the layout was. So I had no idea what was what, where was what. Although I do kind of like it, just didn't really know quite where things were. So, um, if I accidentally take down the stream, I do apologize. Had nothing to do with any technical difficulties. It's probably because I have no idea where things are. So with that disclaimer out of the way, I think like did I say the flight time? I don't know if I said the flight time or not, but yeah, it's about an hour, give or take. Take off the touchdown. I think the cruising altitude would be about 20. It's in the 20s. I know that. About 27,000. There we go. I was thinking about heading to Florida, but that whole hurricane thing, I think it's kind of out of the way of where I initially wanted to go. But I didn't want to risk it there. So that's all set up for the most part. Flight deck's fairly warm at this point. I think our fuel ZFW zero fuel weight's about 114,000 pounds. So medium sized load, nothing just insane. So we'll go ahead and board. Get all that going. What gate is this? Let's see what gate we're at. Alpha 25. So I can get my taxiing preparation out of the way. 09. left. All right. Actually, I think we're pretty close to there. I'm gonna cheat a little bit. Head to our handy dandy map over here. Alright, so yeah, right. Alright, cool. We may change that, but I don't know. Alrighty, let's see. Are my frame rate's okay? Probably kind of hiccupy still. Alright, so position initialization. We're in Atlanta, so Kilo Alpha Tango Lima. In there, get that in there, and Atlanta's already pre-filled for us, so we'll go ahead and type in our airport code for our destination. Bam, right in there. Departure, we're planning for 8 right, but I don't think we're going to get it, so we'll do 8 right. Let's see here. Probably hear the sound cutting in and out. I'm not sure if y'all catch that or not, but I'm just flipping back over to my sim brief window, so just bear with me. Alright. That's in there. It's a fairly short route, so I'm not going to be... Alright, tracks 2. That's it. I'm done. About what's turn way. 05 right. Alright. So arrival will be the tracks 2 arrival. 05 left. Transition there. We'll use lib as the approach. Transition. That's in there. We'll activate that guy. And the performance initialization. One day I'll talk. The performance initialization. That's it. Okay. Anyway, let's see. We'll put this in for a fuel, 15,000 pounds, I think. So we have on board under a normal schedule. And 114,000.6, I believe we'll verify that once we get our numbers. And our reserve fuel, if I can pull that up. Where are you? Alright, 3.0, so 3,000 pounds. 3.0, bam, cost index of 80. And what did I say, 27,000 feet?
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure.
I know. Let's see, 261, alright.
Items must be placed completely under the seat in front of you.
261 at
Use caution when placing over the
29 knots.
Please let us know if we may assist.
Minus
To expedite the boarding process, please be seated
26 degrees. Take off.
Take a moment to review the safety instruction card in your seatbelt pocket.
Alright, 130
are also
for speeds. V, gonna rotate at 134. And V2 is 143. The winds are light, so I'm not gonna add anything on that. Should be about right there. Cool. Alright, there's that. Don't need you anymore. Quick little walk around there. Everything looks to be intact. Everything's there. Got both engines. They're still loading, so we got a while on that. I say a while, as in like a couple minutes. Should go by pretty quick. In the meantime, we'll test everything up here. Test our wind shear warning system.
Headwind, shear, headwind, shear, headwind, shear. Tailwind, shear, tailwind, shear, tailwind, shear.
Good on both sides. Where are you at? Come down here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you.
Alright, number 2.
let us know if you need assistance. To expedite the boarding process, please be seated.
And basically what we're doing here, we're just making sure
Take a moment to
the speaker works for the warning systems and all that fun stuff. So, alright, let's see.
Fire left engine. Fire right engine. Fire left engine. Fire right engine.
Alright, so all that looks good. I don't think I missed anything else. Alright, so our numbers here are, so we're at 114.9 on our zero fuel weight, so we'll update that here shortly. Looks like they're all getting us all buttoned up. 114 point, what's it, 114.9? Yeah, put that in there. There we go. Alright, speeds are set. And I want to do, no, we'll go ahead and start the APU. Normally what I try to do, I try to go ahead and start the auxiliary power unit. We're about like halfway on the boarding process. That way it's all nice and warm and online. We're get ready to push, but that'll be fine. And the seatbelt signs on there. That should be coming up. Put that in run. Actually, we'll go ahead and get our main pumps online, and we can turn this little small fuel pump off. And yes, we need air. And I'm not even going to worry about turning on the packs right now, but I am going to go ahead and excuse me, allergies. I am going to go ahead and open our cross bleed valves. Our isolation valves, let's see, that's all good. The beacon light is on. And we lost everything. There we go.
Autopilot.
Not sure why that happened, but it happened. Whoa. So up here, basically, this is how we handle getting power into the airplane, those of you who don't know. So you can get power into the aircraft, AC power at that, two ways. Via the auxiliary power unit or the, well, of course, the engines or the external power unit. Well, at that particular point in time, we were on external power, and for some reason we lost that. Didn't pull the gate or anything, unless you guys saw me do something that was out of the ordinary. And it completely blows out your entire setup on your FMS. So, yeah, we just got sent to the from scratch line. So we'll throw this back in here real quick. Which, believe it or not, in real life that does happen. Either the plug falls out, that happens a lot. The plug falls out, or every now and then there'll be a miscommunication and the power gets pulled preemptively and off goes the airplane. So fortunately we're not on like a 800-mile trip, and we got like 74 freaking waypoints. So we'll just, should be pretty quick here. Tracks 2, SPA, let's say lib. Let's see here. Alright, Halo 2, Sarge. Oops. No. I think for the most part that was all correct. I think. Let's see. Look at that here in a minute. Let's see, fuel was 15.2. Normal schedule, 114.9. Let's see, 3.0. Cost index 80, 27,000 feet. What did I say the cruise winds? Cruise winds were something 29. I don't know, we'll pull these real quick. Let me check here the latest. Where is it? 253 at 28. Now, some aircraft, depending on the type of redundancies they have in place, if you do, in the event you do lose power, some of the pertinent navigation systems do stay online for a certain amount of time. Most of the time it's 30 minutes. So I think, what was it? It's either the 737 or the Airbus or one of them. If we lost power, we would still at least had one flight management computer up. That way it wouldn't just completely, it wouldn't have, blown out our flight plan and all that fun stuff. But it happens. Let's see. Alright. I think we're about set up for now. Once we take off, we can, let's see, is that our departure? Yeah, once we take off, we can go back through the flight plan there, since it'll probably change anyway, and go from there. So, go ahead and get our hydraulic pumps on. Beacon lights on. Galley power off. Packs, we're leaving those off right now. Fuel pumps are on. Go ahead and lock up the cabin door. Alright, I think we're ready. For a push. So we'll go push back departure. 1 point to the left. Uh, 158 knots. We'll set our. There we go. Alright, set. Speeds are set. Pneumatic valves are set. Trims set. I'll bring up our slots there. Cool. I think we're ready to go. We're not ready to go. Oh.
Yes, sir. You're clear to disconnect. Thanks.
We're ready to go here in a minute. There we go. Now, do they lift the wheel up now, or let's see. Okay, I think it just straddles the nose wheel. Okay, cool. So yeah, I'm gonna hold off on the engine start until we get complete the pushback process. I love how they add the wear here on the outside of the window. I mean, the window, yeah, the door from the gates. Got a little dirt there, so you can tell she's been fairly well used. Alright, let's jump back here and jump back in the flight deck here and get ourselves set up. Reset our pressurization controller. What's the barometric pressure? Bring that up just a little bit. Just a smidget. I know the cabin's getting pretty warm, so shouldn't be too terribly long, and we'll be ready to get out of here. Get my chair adjusted. Alright, almost there. Waiting for this dude to... Alright, parking brake set. Alright, so while they're doing everything, we'll go ahead and do ours. Make sure everything's ready for engine start. Quick once over here. We don't have air on at the moment for the pack, so packs are still off. The air supply is on, so we are pulling pneumatic pressure from the APU. Got pneumatic pressure there. Blah blah blah. Can't talk this morning. Fuel heats off. Start pump off. Seatbelt signs on. Should be about ready to go. And let's see. Wait for them to finish up. And we'll get rolling with number 2 and follow up with number 1. Alright, we'll go ahead and roll number 2. Looking for that number 2 compressor. Come on, there we go. Looking pretty good. I'm waiting for about 23%. And we'll go ahead and send the fuel to it. Alright, I got 23 right there. Watching that EGT and keep my mouse over the fuel control switch. Alright, looks like she's coming up. And there's that AC generator kicking in. And looks like she's going to line out there. So we'll go ahead and close that start valve. Number 2's online. And we'll go ahead and make sure we're clear for number 1. Go ahead and start 1. Now, if we were doing a cross bleed start, what we'll do, we'll go ahead and come up with a little power on number 2 to bring up that air pressure to spin number 1. But we're okay with the APU. So at 22%, 23, we'll go ahead and send it. Watch that EGT. EGT. Coming up and about 400. There we go. Go ahead and close that start valve there, and we'll just double check here, make sure oil pressure, oil temp, those are the big 4 to watch out while you're, especially right after startup. So looks like they're all lined out there. Oil quantity looks pretty good. Hydraulic pressure looks good. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get our overhead panel reconfigured. APU, AC bus is off. Galley power on. APU master is off. Air conditioning on. Close both pneumatic valves. Engine ignition is off. Windshield anti-ice on. And pitot heat's on. Anti-skids on, yaw dampers on.
Fitting into the buckle and adjust the straps.
Do.
Lift the faceplate
I'll
and
bring that pressurization controller up just a
the
hair.
seat pocket in front.
Much just a hair. I think flaps for takeoff will be flaps 15, so we'll go ahead and get that set up.
Your seat cushion serves as an flotation device.
And I think we're all, I think we're ready.
After exiting the aircraft,
And that nozzle light, we'll put that on dim.
there are 8 emergency exits aboard the aircraft. 2-door exits.
Alright, so taxi, we'll go ahead and crank the throttles just a little bit.
Take a moment to locate your nearest exit, keeping in mind that it may be
Don't need a whole lot.
if there's a loss of electrical power, low-level emergency lights will illuminate. All exits are indicated by lighted exit.
And we'll roll on back there.
Massive cattle pressure. Oxygen mask will be released from the air. To start to fill with oxygen, reach over and hold the mask to
There's
fully
flight control check.
place the mask over your nose and mouth and slip the mask.
See the little tabs come up.
Put a tab on either side of the mask to tighten. The plastic bag does not need to inflate when oxygen is flowing.
Alright, so
Secure your mask first before assisting with push. As a reminder,
the plan is,
in any area of the aircraft at any time.
ain't right, but a bit.
On behalf of the flight crew, welcome aboard. We hope you enjoy your flight. Thank you.
Let's see. Man, I gotta say, shout out to FS Dream Team for those gates. They make a world of difference. I don't know why I just came up with that random thought, where it came from, but they are pretty nice. So, try to put that out there. Alright, so we'll make a left here. Sure, clear on the left, clear on the right. So those of you who don't know, the see the little knob turning there, or it's kind of like a half of the steering wheel. I actually had a question about that, so I figured I'll take the opportunity to explain it. That's actually the nose wheel tiller. Now, when I think of a tiller, I think of like a boat, but apparently, apparently the name also transfers over to the aviation industry. But anyway, they got nautical miles, I guess. But yeah, anyway, besides the point. But so on the ground, directional control was actually done using that guy there. So some aircraft have a tiller on both the captain and the first officer side. Most of the older ones, they have it just on the, I say most of the older aircraft, most of them I've seen, have them on the captain side. So on the ground, he'll operate the tiller and all that fun stuff. But once you get up to speed, I say 60 knot-ish, somewhere around there, depending on the bird, the directional control transfers from the tiller to the rudder pedal, since we're using the flying surfaces at that point for directional control. So I'm gonna throw that in there. I'm not exactly sure what speed actually happens to. I think looking at it, we'll look here in a minute. Let's see. So turn on the flight director. We'll put the auto flight system in takeoff mode. There's it. So there's that. And actually bring our cruising altitude back up here to 27,000 feet. Arm that. And we'll put that in nav mode. Should be set to go with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're number 1 for takeoff. Flight attendants, please be seated.
Alright, so engine ignition to both. Let's see, the spoiler set to arm. Well, auto brake to takeoff. And we'll go ahead and turn on our weather radar. I got a feeling we're going to be needing that. And we'll set the position and strobe lights to both. And I'm not going to worry about the landing lights, honestly. Should be alright. Yeah, looks like we're, for the most part, configured for takeoff, so we'll go ahead and make sure the funnel's clear. Runway is clear. And we're going to see if we got clearance received. We'll add a little power there. Oh man, yeah, those of you just came in kind of late, or not late, but I don't know, whatever. Good morning, because I say that because I was a little late in starting the stream, but so I guess you're right on time. Good morning. Long time no see. For a lot of you guys, if you're new here, welcome. Alright, we'll get her all nice and lined up here on center line. Now, a lot of times I kind of take this opportunity, try to adjust my seat, make sure I'm kind of where I want to be. And we'll zoom this, we'll back the seat up just a little bit. There we go. Alright, cool. Cool. Alright, so we're going to roll it to power to about 1.4 on the EPR, and then we'll engage the auto throttle. Our tiller nice and straight. .4 is right there. Bring it up. Bring out my throttles here. And just kind of watching that EPR there, see what she does. Looks like we're holding solid. Alright, so I'm on my rudder pedals here at about 60 knots.
V1. Rotate. Positive rate.
Yep.
Gear up, lights out.
Just so you guys can see. And that's the name of the game. We just want to try to keep her on those crosshairs there. And we'll go ahead and put this guy in VNAV mode. And you'll see the flight director is telling us, hey, lower the nose a little bit. So we're going to lower that nose a little bit. And it's about to get pretty bumpy here in a minute. So I'm going to hurry up and get cleaned up. And get some airspeed under us. Start working out those flaps. Alright, looking pretty good. A little trim to help me out here.
Flap 0.
Climb thrust set.
Climb thrust set.
Alright, and slats retract.
Slats retract.
Alright. And we're just following that flight director. So the checklist calls for the hydraulic pumps to be brought to low and the transfer and auxiliary pump brought to off, but we're going to hold off on that for a minute. Since, like I said, it's about to get, see our radar there, it's going to get pretty bumpy here shortly. Actually, you know what? I'd rather not fly in that, so we're... Let's see, we're going to put this guy on heading mode for the time being. Or heading select, for that matter. And we're going to try to go around that, because, yeah. Now, this would be much easier if you had someone to help you. i.e. a first officer, but I don't think they have implemented the shared cockpit functionality just yet. I know the older one did. Actually, I'll put this on autopilot. I know the older one did, And I mean, it was awesome. Now they have someone there to make heading changes for you and all that fun stuff. Actually, that works out really good because we got to go that way anyway. All right. So what we'll do, we'll just go direct to SPA. So we'll jump into our flight management system here. Direct to SPA. Then throw this guy back into nav mode. Alright, so nav track took over. And we're going to slowly make that turn to the northeast, which should put us clear of what we're about to run into. Alright, I think we're at what, 9,000 feet? Or 10,000 now, so we'll turn that ignition off. Make sure our cabin is climbing appropriately, so you can look here. Get a little gauge telling you if the cabin pressure is climbing, which is kind of what you want. You just don't want it to climb too high, but right now it looks like it's keeping up quite nicely. And I don't know, looks fairly smooth, so we'll go ahead and turn off the seatbelt signs, turn off the auto brake. The auto spoiler is disarmed, still in climb mode. All of our engine instruments for the most part are still within limits. So what we'll do, jump over here to the first officer side, which I don't know why they put this here, but we'll bring the engine driven hydraulic pumps to low and the auxiliary and transfer hydraulic pumps to off. And you'll see the hydraulic pressure fall off to about, I think, like 1500, 1600, somewhere around there. Yeah, about 1500. And everything looks good on this side still. So we're just continuing our climb out there. So yeah, all this here has a lot going on to the right of the stair, but I think we're going to be alright, at least getting to cruise altitude. Alright, so should be looking pretty good to climb out. But yeah, so going back to the takeoff, so you do have, and I forgot the range, to be honest with you, but you do have limited control of the nose wheel using the pedals, right? So normally on takeoff you bring the throttles up to about 1.4 beeper, and once you do that, normally while I'm doing that, I'm kind of getting my wheels on steering line as best I can using the tiller, and but once I'm lined up for the most part, you can pretty much stay on center line for using the limited directional control of the pedals. So, and then as you get up to about, I don't know, 80 and 100 knots, then you start getting a little more rudder authority, and at that point you're kind of using the rudder to keep straight. By that time, you get your rotate speed and just, rotate to 10 to 15 degrees, whatever your flight director calls for. So it's not a whole lot into it. It seems like there's a lot. It's like, basically using two different things for a directional control, but I mean, like I said, for the most part, once you're on the runway and you're lined up, you won't be using this until till you land again, unless it's you got just a ridiculous crosswind and you're fighting like all get out to keep the thing straight. Then at that point you'll probably use the tiller a little bit, and even then up to about 80 to 100 knots. There's not a whole lot of weight sitting on the nose wheel tiller. Most of it's been transferred to the wings or to your rear mains, and so I mean, even if we're trying to steer it, anything past 100 some knots, it's not going to be very effective. So that's one of the reasons why normally you want to keep a little bit of forward pressure on your on the flight controls to maintain as much nose wheel steering authority as you can prior to wanting to lift off. So basically about 100 knots, you want to be about neutral, or maybe a little, even then maybe a little bit of back pressure, neutral, a little bit of back pressure, about 100 knots. And then by 130, 140 is normally when the MD-80 wants to fly. Then, you're at that point you're flying. So, but it does help a lot to keep that forward pressure in just a little bit till about 100 knots. And then once you start, starts wanting to fly, like it'll be about, like I said, about 130, 140, sometimes higher than that the heavier you are. And at that point, just rotate out and you're good to go. And all that, once, as you get comfortable, especially complex airplanes, or older aircraft like the MD-80, seems like there's a lot going on, but once you kind of get a flow established, or follow the checklist or whatever, it's not too terrible. But with that being said, speaking of the MD-80, I'm not sure, those of you who follow the MD-80 probably already know, but American has officially, I think, phased out their MD-80 fleet. I think the last flight has either already taken place or about to take place this month, and that's going to be it. So the only carrier at this point that I know of, the only mainline carrier operating any of the Maddogs is the MD-88 and MD-90, and Delta's flying those for now, and I don't see those flying for much longer. So definitely a sad day. I mean, these things have been in the air for longer than I've been alive, and I mean that's what you saw these things more than any other aircraft at the airport, at one point in time. And I mean you literally gotta dig through the schedule to see one flying nowadays. Alright, we're at 24,000 feet. I don't know why. Should be 292 on both sides. There we go. But yeah, it's pretty sad. I think they're starting to fly, a lot of them, out to the desert already. There's going to be a mass exodus of MD-80s heading western shortly. They haven't started already. But, I mean, for an airplane that's been flying for close to darn near 50 years, I mean, it's time. It's time. You start to see a lot more regionals kind of take over that niche. CRJs and Brayers. You'll start seeing a lot of those. Actually, we're seeing it now. Take over a lot of the sectors that this guy used to fly. But get some better fire up the old air. Oh, what? Aerosoft CRJ. It'd be nice. I'd like to see one more good update from that CRJ. I think I'll be happy. Now, I was reading an article somewhere. I don't even remember where I read it from, so I apologize for that. But they were talking about the initial intentions of the Digital Aviation / Aerosoft CRJ, and how it initially was the intentions were was for it to be a. Hey, what's going on, bud? Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Oh, man. So we've hit 27,000-ish. But their initial intentions were, was for it to be, close to that. Here's that term again, study level. And, that was the initial intentions. But, of course, unfortunately, it didn't really turn out that way, but alright, so that put our thrust rating to 1.8. So, and not saying that's a bad bird, it's just, I don't know. Yeah. I guess there's just so many problems with it early on until it just kind of put, those of us who, were there from the beginning when it first dropped that night, it's gonna put a bad taste in everyone's mouth. But I don't know, may fire it up here at some point. But I have to say, by far, and I think I've said this before, but this is probably one of the most in-depth Maddog simulations there is. Like, I've been in flight sim for close to 20 years, and I don't think there's a Maddog simulation out there that comes close. There just isn't. So, it's a little depressing, to see the Maddog go, but at least we'll have it in the sim. So, that's always a plus. And Delta's probably gonna fly them till the engines just fall off of them anyway. So I think we'll see a couple of them flying here and there. I think they're literally going to fly them until one day they're going to do their pre-flight walk around, and both of the Pratt & Whitneys are just going to be on the ground. Whip! Gotta retire it. One of those things. Hopefully it doesn't get that bad, but never know nowadays. And even then, I think a lot of, I think there may be a few charter outfits that may pick them up. I don't know about I don't know about the 83s, but maybe the 88s, possibly. I can't remember, but I want to say the 83s might have no longer range. I don't remember, but there may be a few charter outfits, maybe in Europe or Africa. There's actually been a couple of DC-9s that found a new lease on life in for a few airlines in Africa, I think. So there's still a couple of them flying. Probably, a little cheaper to. I'm sure you can still find parts for them. So, we may be able to squeeze a few more years out of them, but you know, then again, I mean, a lot of the airframes just have so many bloody cycles on them. I don't know. I mean, there's only so much patchwork you can do on them to keep them together, you know. So it'll be kind of interesting to see, you know, if there is an outfit out there, they'll pick a few of them up. Maybe some of the lower, narrow ones. So while I'm sitting over here reminiscing, let me double check and see what our plan looks like here, getting into North Carolina. We'll dive over here in plan mode, and I'll zoom in here just a hair. Hit the step button here and see what it looks like. See what it looks like. Alright, so we got a little bit of a turn. Almost got like a little base there. Alright, so here's what I may do, because they got lib like all the way down there. I think what we'll do, then they got set for vectors. Yeah, we'll do that. So chives. Alright, so we got murky. So what we can do we'll just get rid of lib and I'm not going to do vectors. And we're not going to do that hold. Let's see. We'll clear that discontinuity. And actually we'll clear Jevin as well. We'll need that. So we'll do that. There we go. Oops. Alright, it's about alright. That's about right. Alright, so it looks like we're about set up here for our approach and landing, barring any unforeseens going into Piedmont International. But we're all nice and set up for that. Everything's nice and happy up here, looks like. You can double check now if you're with the Maddog, of course it's an older bird. On this particular simulation, especially if you have the failures on and all that, it is a good idea to kind of check your generator output just to make sure, you know, they are putting out the proper frequencies and all that. So, you know, you kind of look and see. I mean, anything out of the ordinary will definitely stick out between the two. Batteries, not really going to pay a whole lot of attention to that. You know, be volts there. Battery amps. You can check your amps right here. They can move this over here. I can double check the battery voltage. That's a good thing to check. And of course, galley power. Just kind of make sure everything's, for the most part, is in order. Engines, make sure your engines are nice and happy. Especially since these guys do burn quite a bit of oil, it's good to kind of pay attention. I've even forgotten to check, and it's like, why the heck this thing wouldn't start, or why are the temps a little higher than normal? More often than not, because you're low in oil. And see. And we'll go ahead and bring the antenna down on our radar just a little bit, just to kind of get more pointing toward us, or ahead of us instead of above us. And yeah, for the most part, cruise is of course fairly boring, which boring is indeed good. And for the most part, it's set up nicely. Jump over here to the first officer section. Make sure everything's still kind of set up, since it is, especially when you're by yourself. I mean, things get pretty hectic, so every now and then, like, you'll have like maybe a valve open or something like that when it shouldn't, and all that fun stuff. Although it would be kind of nice to maybe like a future update, if we got the little mount for the tablet, since no one really carries these anymore. Thank God. It'd be kind of nice, maybe a little. I mean, it just has to be there, but kind of nice to see that addition. Pressurization controller looks to be functional. You can kind of reach all the way back here and see what's going on. Another view of the computer there. We're actually getting pretty close to our descent point, so cruise is not going to be as long. I think the longest flight I've seen was maybe Toronto. I think Delta is still running them up there, but for the most part, the only ones I've seen maybe been to Augusta, Georgia, Huntsville, Birmingham, Dayton, Ohio, Flint, Michigan. And I think the only reason why they, especially Augusta, Georgia, there's a huge military base there, and so rather than running a 737-800 or something crazy like that, that being such a high density short route, they opted just to use the MD-80, which I think the only thing that really comes close, I don't even think the CRJ-900 has the same capacity as the MD-80, so that does make sense. The more you think about it, those really super high density short routes where it's just I don't want to fly anything else in there. You just got these MDAs that are probably paid for, and for the most part, cheap to run versus the amount of fuel they burn. So that would probably be, financially viable just to do that. Let's see. that there's some sort of add-on that was released for, I think it's P3D, that's like a cargo loading simulation or something like that. Which I thought was kind of weird, since I figured GSX kind of did the same thing, but perhaps it's not on the same scale as this one does, but actually it handles, let's see, look here, what was it? I think there's like, passengers wanting to go to the restroom. Yeah, it's called self-loading cargo. And so read real-time feedback from passengers, provides in-flight services and entertainment, manage ill and disruptive passengers, cabin crew sounds, in-flight conditions and events. Actually sounds kinda interesting. My only thing I would kind of be afraid of is that, more often than not, the odds of, disruptive passengers and things like that are very slim. I mean, I know we see a lot. I know we see a lot going on in social media, but social media. It doesn't happen every trip. Or, more often than not, you don't even really, nothing happens. So, I don't know. I know for me at least, I don't know if I want to get something that, I don't know. I don't know. I may watch a couple reviews and see what other people think about it, and until then, I'll probably reserve my judgment until that point. But I don't know. I don't know. Whoa. Oh man. Anywho, it does seem Airplane Heaven and Phil there are making a good bit of progress on the new Embraer series that's going to be coming out hopefully soon. Be nice. For P3D. I have to say I'm pretty excited about that. Alright, looks like we're ready for a descent. A little roll this guy down here into, I think it was about 3,000 feet. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, I have to say I'm pretty excited. I think I've mentioned this before. Phil there, they do a great job, especially on the avionics for like the Embraer series. They pretty much nailed it, but the modeling left a lot to be desired. And I'm so glad that finally they were like, well, let's just get somebody else to do the model. We do everything else. Perfect. So I think that's what they did. Excuse me. So it'll be nice to see what pops up here in the near future. One more exterior shot. That's awesome. But yeah, it'd be nice to see how that turns out there. Alright, so the ILS for 05 left is Oh no, 11109 decimal 55 approach course 054. I think my streaming software burped. Dropped a few frames. Interesting. Very interesting. So we got 10955, 104. That's set. Let's see. Alright, making this right turn here. $19,000 feet. Alright, so let's see here. 143. So we'll go ahead and Sarah speeds up there. Actually, I may kick in a little spoiler. Kicking a little speed brake here, help us more descent. And we'll double check. Before we do that, let's double check our field elevation. Let's see. Alright, about 1,000 foot. And actually, we'll do this. We'll go ahead and put in the vertical speed. See if we're close enough to get ATIS information. Which I don't see anything, you guys. Let's see. Happy bottom. I don't want that. farther from you. Haven't seen what we're looking for just yet. Go ahead and slow everything down about 240. And here's the nice thing, if we get below, and if you look under our speed card here, if we get below 280, we can actually at least drop slats. But I believe the limit's flaps 11. Let's see here. See if I can find what I'm looking for. Oh, closer. Where is it? There we go. ATIS. Alright, so it's favoring runway 5. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and bring our pumps back up to high pressure. So it should be 3,000 both sides, and we'll go ahead and drop slats there.
Slats extended.
And here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and do this. We'll go ahead and do heading select. Go around mode. Seatbelt signs on.
Ladies and gentlemen, preparation for the landing. Insert your seatbelt and straight out from your seatbelts. Security code slowly
And just a quick once over, one more time, make sure everything's in order. We'll bring up our barometric pressure on our pressurization controller. That should be about 302 something. And that's about right. Alright, looking pretty good there. Yeah, I like to slow down about 210. And bring the vertical speed down about 1,500 foot per minute. And we'll go ahead and start that turn. And we'll bring it down to about 190. Kick in some more flaps. And put this guy on arc. And actually what we can do, we can increase our bank angle a little bit. And she'll crank on over there. And set ourselves up for about 45-degree intercept, give or take.
$2,500.
There it goes, like she's lining out there. Slow down to about 180. And we'll go ahead and arm our ILS mode. And we'll shallow out that intercept just a hair. There we go, we got this wing there.
Stabilizer motion.
Work on capturing that localizer. There we go, she should swing in there nice and easy now. And just so you guys can see what's going on there. Alright, there's a glide slope. And as you get closer to the localizer, it gets much more sensitive. So if you're hand flying this thing, just keep that in mind. Alright, should wait for the glide slope capture. Alright. Right there, gear down.
Gear down, 3 green.
And we'll wait for everything to settle out and we'll grab flaps 28. Alright, flaps 28. Brake armed. Wait for us to get flaps 28. Alright, there we go. Flaps 28. I'll brake to medium. Engine ignition. And looks like we're tracking nicely. Now, this is when I normally bring bring in the landing lights since they do add a little drag. I normally wait till the last minute to turn those on.
1,000.
Alright, have controls.
$500. 400. 300. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Alright. A little back pressure. There you go.
2 in reverse. $60. Reverse lights out.
Alright. Alright, we'll go ahead and exit the active here.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Please remain seated and keep your seatbelts fastened until the fasten seatbelt sign has been turned off. Passengers continuing their journey on another flight are kindly requested to contact the ground staff for information regarding customs clearance and baggage, even if it is already tagged for its final destination. We wish you a pleasant stay and thank you for choosing our airline.
Alright, now we can try to get everything cleaned up. Great landing. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm not sure why, but my streaming quality is... I'm having a lot of buffering issues here lately. I'm not sure if it's my internet connection or what. Crazy. Alright, see if we can get the APU on. Dim that guy. And once again, here's where having a first officer would be advantageous, since a lot of looking down and all that fun stuff, and reaching all the way over just to turn off your strobe lights. Not like most aircraft where all your lights are like right here. APU firing up. As soon as I can find a gate, which I think is somewhere over yonder. Hopefully I don't be that guy and pass it. Although that could possibly be the case. That looks way too small for our aircraft. And I don't see another place to to go. It's like we may have to make a utilize the runway here to find the terminal. So if that is the case, you want to make yourself as visible as possible. Normally how we do that, we're just going to assume we got clearance. I mean, pretend we got clearance. And we'll turn on pretty much normal stuff, the strobe lights and landing lights. And try not to spend a whole lot of time in the runway environment if you can help it. Passengers are probably thinking, what in the world? Although there are times, especially like some of the smaller airports, to where they may have a section. I remember running into a situation. They had a section of taxiway closed, so they used the runway as a way of getting to the terminal. So I don't know. Me personally, anytime I'm on the runway, kind of, your spider senses start tingling. So I'm trying to hurry up and get across get down the runway as quick as you can. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cut this, but we're going to try it. I'm out kind of wide. Feel like I'm trying to drive a Peterbilt. I am a freaking jet. Alright, there we go. And you do hear a lot from a lot of MD-80 drivers. You really gotta taxi your thing as if you're in a larger aircraft than what you're actually in, being that the thing is so long. You kind of have to overshoot your center line just a little bit. And I talk about Peterbilts, but quite honestly, if you've driven a tractor trailer or anything like that, you probably have a better idea of spatial awareness than most of us. Now that terminal has to be somewhere, or heck, that might be the terminal. I see T hangars over there. I see a little, needless to say, this is my first time at this particular airport here. And I'll tell you that's what we can do as well. We can go ahead and kill number 1 and just run off of number 2. We'll go ahead and kill that guy there. So I've killed number 1. And I think we can get along just fine at 114,000 pounds with one engine. Save a little bit on fuel with this extended taxi of ours. I want to say the terminal is straight ahead. I can't be for sure. But I want to say it's straight ahead. And I'm going to clear that master caution. It's bugging me. I don't know if I can pull this off. I'm gonna try. Nope, I can't. I was gonna try to bring up my open my cross bleed valves, but yeah, it's not gonna happen. Now what's over there? What's over there? Is that, are those? See if we can bring this thing to a gentle stop. That looks like gates over there, and indeed it is. So we'll just make it right. We'll just make it right here. So that's the only downside having one engine. You're going to have to come up with it quite a bit, but she'll start rolling there. There we go. There we go. I'm thinking to myself, there's no way this airport does not have a terminal. And let's see, while we're relatively slow, there we go. Alright. Now, there we go. Get up to speed here a little bit. And let's see if I can get the air on. Center fuel low, so we'll go ahead and just turn off the center pumps there. Let's see here. Get a good little pace going. Decent little giant going. Using the brakes here a little bit. coming in a little hot, but I'll be alright. Make sure I had enough energy to make this turn here. We'll probably catch this gate right here. Alright. Okay, and there we go. We'll call that good. Alright, wait for Eeper to settle out there and EGT to come down a little bit, and we'll go ahead and kill that number 2 engine. Jump over here. Get rid of that dude. And turn off our turn off our pumps. And collision off. Jump back over here. And while we're doing all this, we'll go ahead and request deboarding. I was about to hit American. Alright, turn start pump on for the time being. Emergency lights off. Galleon power off. Turn off the high pressure bleed. All right. Oh. All right, we are here finally. All right, guys. So I think that's going to be it for right now. Gonna jump off here and do the unfortunate yard work. I hate yard work. Anyway, till next time. Probably have a little enjoy a little explain action on the next one. We'll see. But you guys have an awesome rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you guys later.